Amanda's very excited about tonight. I think she might be fun. I don't know. I've met her. What, you were in my store, what, 6 months ago or something?
Yeah, January.
January. Oh, well, not even that much then.
Feels like 6 months.
Yeah, I know.
I've been in your store several times. I was just talking about Tara. I met her when she was first pregnant, and then right after she had the baby, and then, I don't know, maybe 6 months after she had the baby again, and then this time around. I get around, y'all. I go to Great Falls. I like that place.
We like to call it the Cool Falls.
Cool Falls?
We think Great Falls has a chip on the shoulder. And we
Really?
think we're way cooler than the rest of the state gives us credit for, in my opinion. And
I think that's true.
right. So we like to change the name. Well, not we, just me, I guess. Likes to change the name to Cool Falls. So
Cool
we're
Falls.
the Cool Falls. I think if we actually change our name to the Cool Falls, literally, we went through that whole process. The rest of the state would like, what the hell's going on in Cool Falls?
You know, they might not even notice right now. Just go ahead and do it. There's no rules right now. Go for it.
Right. Well, I'm probably not in charge. I should be, but I'm not.
Oh, well, that's why you talk to Kathy.
All right. But she has that silly hat on.
I
There's no way anybody's gonna take her seriously.
No. When things move, when I shake my head, no.
I kind of giggle every time you shake your head.
I know, right?
I'm about done drinking wine. That's the last of the wine. I'm heading on to the beer.
All right, you're fine. You'll be good.
All right. Thanks for your permission.
Yeah.
There's glasses. There's glasses.
Here's my son, Jake. Jake, pop in and say hi.
Hello.
He's
Hey,
got
what up, Ben?
he's got a toque. He's got a toque on instead of a hat.
I've met Jake before, I think.
Well,
He's your tall redheaded brother.
well, that's interesting. We got Robin on. Nice. Thanks. Thanks for that. I see.
Ooh, Kenny
You're not
Martin,
nervous
I
about
said. Oh, Robin, you are the best. Oh, yeah.
I don't think we're having any fun at all tonight. No way. So my friend Ron Bibler down in Big Sky sent us another text. Well, the first one was, I've been to a lot of beer tastings, and to say the least, this is atypical. And then he sent it last night again. He's like, I can't even say how atypical this is. So we're not really, I don't know what we're doing. We're just having fun, right? That's the whole point.
I think we can do whatever we want. It's Montana. Our rules are different.
And you know what? People already paid for the beer. And so
Yeah.
if they don't like it, they can jump off, right?
Yeah, the beer will at least be good if you don't like our entertainment. It's free. So,
All right, so we're gonna start. It's 6:31, so I'm off by a minute, but we're gonna start. If that's okay.
Yeah.
We get a little fifth and wine time first,
mhm.
right? So you've been through the whole spiel. I got to read this stuff. So my son Jake, you just saw him. He said, I said last night that I look old and I need lighting. He's like, no, you just look old. That was nice, I thought. We asked for specials from our customers, and Bob Sobolik came up with the special for next week. It is, what is it, like short rib ciabatta. We're doing a roasted jalapeno, apple and cabbage slaw. And we made an aioli today. We made our own barbecue sauce and then put that into aioli. Well, aioli is really just purified olive oil for us, at least. So you put that in a blender, and then you put that barbecue sauce. So Bob, the weird thing is we actually already sold 4 to Bob, so it really turned out good for us financially. We already pre-sold 4 from our customer. Thank you, Bob and Beth and et al. Let's see what else we got. We got wine tasting next week. We, I think a little lecture's in order because I did beer tasting, you guys. I don't do beer tasting. And you guys, you're all beer people and you won't do a wine tasting. Like, come on. We only have, I think, 14, right, Tara, or something like that? 14. Right. Come on. Step up to the plate. And just support the wine business like I've supported the beer business this week. I think it's important that you guys do that. And plus, I like to lecture my customers. Our friend Joe, he used to be Handsome Joe. Now he's Average Joe because he cut his hair off. And so Average Joe is working in our back room, in our storage room. And I walked back there. I'm like, Joe, this is a storage room. We're not trying to create the Taj Mahal here. Like, let's just make it nice. So it turns out he made it so nice, we're probably going to turn it into a back alley casino. So I think we're going to have a casino now. I'll keep you updated on that. Yeah. Tomorrow morning, my friend Jeffrey Milholm, you'll see him on the screen there in his cowboy hat. He invited us, my son and I, out to a branding. He owns a big spread up in Minkuli, and he has 7,000 cows about or something, or maybe 50, I don't know, in that neighborhood anyway. And so we're gonna go branding up there tomorrow. And this happened 2 years ago, or 3 years ago or something. We were at this branding. We showed up, and he's in the middle, and I bet there's probably 30 people around, and he's doing this, being very mean to calves, which I was completely against. And then he gets done, and you can smell all that, and the cows are bellowing because their calves are going through torture from Jeffrey. And then I walk out in the middle of the arena with a glass of rosé, and I'm like, Jeffrey, would you like a glass of rosé? And the entire crew thought that was semi-funny.
So you're gonna do oysters after that?
Rocky Mountain ones.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna walk into the arena and have rosé. That's the extent of that. My friend Clark Broadbent.
That'd be a classic.
My friend Clark Broadbent, who used to own the I used to own the Insti Prints here in Allegra, and he and I ended up in Red Lodge. So I like to tell stories, you guys. Give me a break. It's a Saturday night. You got time for stories, right?
Yeah.
So we went to Red Lodge. We were down in Billings. We thought we were going to the I can't remember, some concert, and it ended up not being the same people, and so we had nothing to do. It was in March, and Amanda and I talked about March and April in Red Lodge and skiing and how good the skiing is. So we decided to drive up there. We had nothing else to do anyway, so we drove up there, and we sat on the deck of the ski lodge there and had a beer. And this guy sat next to us with ski mask on, and he left it on when he was on the deck, and it was probably 40 degrees or something. And we couldn't help laughing. So that's my memory of Red Lodge. And we're going to talk more with Amanda.
He was working on his goggle tan.
Just I don't know.
Yeah.
Just goggle, right? Just and he's drinking beer. I'm having a goggle and a beer. So anyway, I think it's really nice to have Dania with us tonight from Red Lodge.
Looking in the kitchen, looking good, Dania is.
Right. So I screwed that up last night. If you guys weren't on, I introduced Dania as Amanda, and so we just thought that'd be fun. So we're gonna start with you. Go off on your virtual beer brewery touring.
Sweet, cool. So everyone, do you have your Helio Hefeweizen? All right, so this is it. We're just gonna talk about beer real quick before we drink it. Helio Hefeweizen, it's an unfiltered German-style American wheat beer. When we say German-style, the owner's got some German history. We'll touch on that. But yeah, it's got a little bit of cloudiness. You can see the sun's hitting behind me. Sorry, that's our CO2 tank refilling. So you can't totally see through the glass. We want that. We want a little bit of haze. All right, everyone, cheers, and then I'll get started.
Cheers. There's a chance we'll have fun tonight with Amanda, Dania.
Yeah, with Dania. Yeah, with Dania from Red Lodge. Yeah. So Hey everybody, my name is Amanda Oakes. I am the regional sales representative for Red Lodge Ales Brewing Company and Last Chance Cider Mill out of Billings, Montana. I am not from Montana, if you can't tell by the little bit of hint in my accent. I was born and raised in Louisiana. I'm from the oldest parish in Louisiana Purchase. I was raised on a pecan plantation. So all my family are farmers. I grew up farming, grew up a hillbilly country girl with, dirt underneath my fingernails and a dream in my eye. So it just got really loud. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. I moved around the South a lot, lived in Louisiana, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, and then finally went to East Tennessee. East Tennessee is where I actually got my first brewery job, and I worked at Smoky Mountain Brewery, which was located in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. They also had a location in Knoxville, and then they had a location in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Hold on,
All
wait.
kind of really.
Wait. Pigeon Ford, is that what you said?
It's
Oh.
Pigeon Forge, so like forging an iron forger. Pigeon Forge, and maybe because there were a lot of pigeons.
And you forged them or something? I don't know.
And they forged stuff, yeah. They forged a lot of go-kart tracks. They forged some of the largest outlet malls, and they forged roads all over the national park. So that's when, at the age of 19, well, I was 18, I moved to Colorado to follow my dream of being a professional snowboarder. That didn't happen. So then I went back home, started getting back into beer, but then I decided to move to Montana. And I've been in Montana for a little over 11 years.
And you talked to me about your snowboarding experiences in Red Lodge. You said you did it every month of the year last year or something?
Yeah. So I lived in Missoula, which is western Montana, and the skiing and snowboarding was great there. Then I moved to Big Sky and had probably peaked as a human being in my snowboarding fantasies. Some of the greatest skiing of my life. And then we were brought to Red Lodge with jobs, but it brought a new opportunity because we have the biggest mountains in the state of Montana, which is the Beartooth Mountains. We have the highest peak, which is Granite Peak. And that allows us to ski in the summer months when most other ski areas are closed, when there's no snow anywhere else in Montana. We've definitely got snow in the Beartooth. So I got to ski in May, June, July, August, September, and then finally in October at the ski area where I went uphill.
Nice. And
Yeah.
let's think about Red Lodge for a minute, because the town is really a foodie town that nobody up here knows about. I think it's famous, not famous, but whatever, down in Billings and maybe Wyoming and whatever. But tell us about the food and wine scene and beer scene in Red Lodge.
Yeah, food and wine scene's pretty good. You've got your normal pizza places here, but then we've had some chefs kind of travel all over the world, come back to this little community and open up their own restaurants. One, for instance, is called Prerogative Kitchen. It's owned by Gina and Chris. They're two amazing human beings, but they just make really awesome food made with the freshest ingredients they can get. That's our taproom manager. She killed it today. But yeah, so I mean, we have a sandwich shop at the brewery, but you should always go out and experience the really intricate, like unique, awesome, very, very local. They buy local meat from anywhere around Montana and also in Cody, Wyoming. We've got some great vegetable growers around the area of Billings, Red Lodge, outside of the Carbon County market as well. So yeah, there's a great food scene in Red Lodge paired with a phenomenal brewery in their backyard. So worked out.
Who's that?
Both of us. All of us.
Let's talk about the cidery in Billings.
Sure. So, love you guys too. Have a wonderful night. Sam Hoffman is the founder of Red Lodge Ales Brewery. He started that in 1998. He got married probably 7, 8 years ago to Lindsay Caldwell. Her last name's Hoffman now, but Sam and Lindsay started the cider mill just 5 years ago. And Sam's been making homemade fresh pressed apple cider out of his garage for over a decade. all of his friends, people in the community. Oh, Sam, this is the best cider. Like, you gotta open up a cider mill. You gotta do this commercially. Well, that's not just as easy as it sounds. There's these things behind us called tanks, and they ferment things like beer and cider, and you need a lot of them. And then Sam doesn't do anything easy. He doesn't cut corners. He's like, is it Wendy's? They don't cut corners. We're like the Wendy's of kind of making things happen because it's always the hard way. We bought an apple presser and we only buy fresh apples and press them ourselves. That prevents us from buying frozen concentrated juice or juices, apples that we don't even know what they taste like. So we can actually bite into an apple, know what it tastes like, know what kind of tannins we're going to get out of it, the acidity levels, press it ourselves, and then just ferment it with yeast.
Well, that's fun. And we have those available in Great Falls. Maybe your shaky hat can say yes or no.
Yes. What flavors, Amanda, are you guys making?
So that's a great question. We have 3 categories of our ciders. Our first ones are called flagships. We make one called Orchard Run, which is just all fresh pressed apples, but it's a blend of apples. It's not a single varietal. We make one called the Perfection. It's a fresh pressed apple cider. Excuse me. Back sweetened with real pear juice. And then a third flagship is called Flathead Cherry Cider, and it's fresh pressed apple cider back sweetened with real cherry juice from our Flathead Valley. Then we do another step and do single varietals. Single varietals using only one style of apple. I'm sure you guys in the wine industry are very familiar with that. People in the beer world, what it means to the layman like me and you. So we just buy one style of apple. Let's say one called the Carmine de Sonneville. It's a really delicate, beautiful apple with low tannins, low acidity, really nice pineapple, guava characteristics. Well, we only buy that one and press that one, and that makes a single varietal. We do that with the Carmine de Sonneville. We do it with the Jonathan apples. We've got the Newtown Pippin single varietal. Then we do a blend of only Montana grown apples. We call that the full Montana. Then we also do one called the pub cider. And the pub cider is a French English style apple. It's a couple of different apples we use, but the variety is known to the area of France, I guess. Or England. Yes, sorry. English style apple. And it's a pub cider, which means it's a traditional English pub style cider.
So do you always just say to the distributor, because they buy so much, that that's a great question? And when you're talking to retail, you don't ever say that's a great question?
There's no wrong, bad questions.
No,
There's
that's
only great
kind
questions.
of rude, I thought. Like,
Okay.
I asked some great questions. You didn't say, hey, that's a great question, Mark.
I'm so focused on you. It's the hat, man. Your hat is very serious. Hers is very fun. Oh, Tara's just got way better too. All right, cool.
Do you want to say you guys have a perfection?
And then I'll give you a little bit further. So then we take all that a step further. Our third tier is called a barrel age series. So we'll take some of the higher end apples. Maybe they were a little too acidic after they were fermented. Maybe they were, I don't know, way too earthy. And we thought they'd pair better in a Chardonnay barrel, a brandy barrel, a bourbon barrel, brandy barrel, whiskey barrel. I mean, we've got like 7 or 8 different varieties of barrels we're aging cider in. We even got some tequila barrels. This is my favorite.
So is the cidery business growing? I mean, is that, what do you guys see in the trend there?
Yeah, the cider mill has definitely grown. For us, fortunately, unfortunately, when we opened the cider mill, we had to limit our distribution of not only the draft cider, because that's what we had out first, but when we launched our 3 flagships in cans, we couldn't offer those all over the state because we didn't want to open an account up and not be able to keep the production going. Because we only buy a fresh apple, we only get so much juice. When we first started, our mill was a little bit smaller. Since opening 5 years ago, we've purchased anywhere from, I'd say, 5 to 12 new tanks, like you see behind me, to go in the cider mill. We purchased the canning line.
Amanda,
Yeah.
5 to 12, that's a big range. Is it 5 or 12?
Well, so when we buy the tanks, some will go to the mill and some go to the cidery. So when we actually buy tanks for the brewery, we'll take tanks from the brewery and move them to the cider mill. So we're kind of swapping things.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and we bought 5 to begin with to start with, and some of them weren't really brewery tanks. They're very different. They're more like wine tanks, and we can also use dairy tanks. So we were
What's the
getting a lot
process?
of those.
What's the process? Is it similar to brewing beer, brewing a cider?
It's not. You don't brew a cider, you just ferment a cider. There's no heat involved, like the hot side where Mike was talking a little bit about, they shouldn't call it cold hopping because the beer is only at room temperature, but when you're mashing in at the boil and everyone's boil temperature is different, you have to boil the first part of your beer to get it started. That's what gets your sugars and juices and everything working and farting out booze. Cider, you actually just, that's my way to explain brewing. That's why I'm not a
You're
brewer.
from Tennessee, for Pete's sake, or
Yeah,
Louisiana.
that's how they taught me in Tennessee. Something eats something and it farts out something that you drink, and it's good. So all we do with cider is move fresh pressed juice into a kind of similar silver stainless steel tank that you see behind me. We'll let that kind of settle, so all the pectins will go to the very bottom, and then we'll add yeast, almost like wine, and just let it sit, and then it'll start fermenting. And then we'll transfer it and filter it. And we also pasteurize it. We do everything.
We have a fancy term for that in the wine world. It's called racking, when you move from one barrel to another. You guys probably should come up with some fancy term for that instead of just transferring.
Yep, you can rack it. There's racking arms inside those tanks, and then transfers. Transfers, I guess, is what we call them.
Do you think it's time to get onto the beers and start tasting them and talking about those?
Yeah, is everyone enjoying the Helio Hefeweizen? Are there any questions I need to answer at this point?
I think we're pretty
Can
good.
everyone see behind me? So that's our stainless steel graveyard. So that's just the front part of our brew house. Are there any questions?
Not
Are we gonna
yet.
start on another beer? Another beer? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah.
You're in charge, not us.
All right. Well, I'm gonna kind of walk you guys as I'm walking. I'll kind of tell you what's behind me to that side of me, that big tank that almost hits the ceiling. That's our newest installment. When we first got our canning line, bent nail just took off like wildfire. We actually couldn't produce enough bent nail to keep up with market demand. That tank behind me solved that issue 110%, which is extremely exciting. The 2 other tanks behind me, Boop and Boop, they're twin. They're 90-barrel lagering tanks. So usually the only thing that goes in there is our Checkmate Pilsner, Glacier Alt Beer, or Amber Beer, as we like to call it now, and then any other seasonal lagers that we might make. We have one right now called Ulerfest that's almost out, and then we make another one called Liver Eatin'. And that one's a kind of a local seasonal. It's an inside joke. More about Red Lodge. So has everyone heard the story about Liver Eatin' Johnson in Red Lodge since we're on story time?
Yes,
No.
I think we should do. Well, but first, we have to say if there's actually a Red Lodge in Red Lodge, and then you can go on.
Oh. There are no more Red Lodges in Red Lodge. And if there are, that means that the Crow are back and they probably are killing things, making teepees. I think that's where the story came from. The Crow Reservation, or the Crow people, would use this land to hunt on. They would make tents, and then the tents were topped with blood, of course, because they were the, skins of the animals that they had just hunted. So this was actually a very, very wonderful hunting ground for the Native Americans. And that's why it's called Red Lodge.
You should be a damn Chamber of Commerce.
Don't say, they already want me to be the mayor. We can't go there. I'd be a terrible mayor. So, Liver Eatin' Johnson was the first unofficial sheriff in Red Lodge. The Crow actually murdered his wife. He went and hunted them down, cut out their livers, and ate them, and just made himself the sheriff.
That is a pleasure story. Thank you for
That's
enlightening us.
Montana. That's our history. You wanted to know about Red Lodge.
You can't say our history. You're a damn Tennessee girl.
Well, hey, I live here now and I pay state taxes and I'm a Montanan. I'm a homeowner now, okay?
All right.
I'm super stoked. All right, so are you guys ready for the next beer? We're going Black IPA.
Well, we didn't talk about the first beer, like the aromas and the taste and the.
Helio Hefeweizen?
Yeah, we didn't.
It's an
Well, talk about it. I mean, you get
unfiltered.
paid for this a lot, I'll
She
bet.
talked about it.
What'd you
No.
talk about?
Unfiltered and
Oh, I thought you did.
didn't
You
even
do actually
hear.
taking notes for us?
He
Well,
was blacked out on Pinot Grigio.
I know. Thank you. He was roseanne all day, girl. So some of the notes you will taste on the Helio Hefeweizen, and everyone's palate is different. If you have this random weird chromosome that makes you not like cilantro, you might hate the Helio Hefeweizen. But if you're like the regular 99% of us, you should probably be getting some nice, beautiful, light citrus flavors, followed by more of a creamier mouthfeel. It's not going to feel really light on the tongue. It's unfiltered, so you're going to have a little bit of sediment in there. I won't say sediment, I'll just say goodness in the beer. You know, if you don't like wheat beers like Blue Moon or Miner's Gold, probably not the beer for you, but I'd say, you know, it's probably more comparable to a Miner's Gold out of Lewis and Clark. That's probably about the closest Hefeweizen I can compare it to.
What do you think about the chilled glass versus the non-chilled glass and the aromas that show up, you know, with different shapes in the glasses?
Yeah, totally. I actually brought my glasses out, you know, an hour ahead of time. I do like a room temperature glass. I like an ice cold beer, but we serve at our tap room, our glass is refrigerated because when you give it the rinsing process, it just shows for a better glass. So I think a refrigerated glass is fine. I personally don't think you should ever put your glasses in the freezer. You might be able to tell, like, when you drink a glass out of the freezer, not only will the beer start to freeze up and start making ice chunks in the glass, but you'll get some of the smells from whatever's in your freezer. If it's elk meat, you might smell a little elk meat on your nice crisp Pilsner. So don't put them in the freezer, people. We don't approve of that. You can totally keep a chilled glass, though, in the refrigerator, but you don't have room for that because you have a cold beer.
If we are having this tasting in Iowa or Missouri or somewhere, we're not going to talk about elk taste might come into your beer in the freezer, probably. Right?
I would never be in Iowa or Nebraska to be able to want to talk to you about this. I mean, seriously.
That's a great response.
Well, it's odd to me that you said elk. Like, you know, like only.
I got a bunch of elk in my freezer. I've been thinking about something to do with them. Are we ready for the next beer?
Second one. Yep.
All right. So Black IPA. You will first see it is kind of black in color. I'm pouring terribly right now because I'm in a hurry. I'm just gonna drink it from the can. If you were wondering, actually, I will send someone a 64-ounce growler if they can tell me why there's a cow on here and not a horse. I'll tell y'all the answer later. This is a really unique beer. We'll just touch on this a little bit. Black IPA, not a lot of people do a black IPA. You'll hear of like a Schwartz beer, which is almost like a black lager. Bozeman Brewery, they make a fantastic black lager. I can't remember if they do a black IPA. Not many people do. But the neatest thing about a black IPA is it's still really hoppy, like a bent nail or a rye IPA. But you have this dark porter color, which kind of does a little bit to your mind. But the color comes from midnight wheat. And the wheat is roasted to a black color. So really, we're not using the wheat so much in the profile of the beer to give the beer its complexity. We're just giving the midnight wheat into the beer to give it its color. So wheat can be used in all the ingredients can be used in so many different areas to give the beer, whether it's color complexity or taste complexity, whatever. It's just kind of neat. It's like cooking. but you can drink it. How's your black IPA, Mark?
Is it time for me to talk now?
Yeah, you can.
All right. Let's come on. Let's come up with something.
Well, Rocking Horse is a brand, so.
Oh, Rocking Horse is a brand. So do you owe them a growler?
Did someone answer it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocking Horse is a brand, they said.
Was that Eric? Probably
Yeah,
because
a couple
you've
people.
asked that at Brewfest. Yeah. No, you've never asked that? He just knows his brands. Yeah. See, I know that dude. He's cool. I like him. Yeah, he's absolutely right. So kind of what we're able to do as a small town brewery in a very small community, we give all of our spent grain and mash to a local rancher here in town. His name's Conrad Anderson. Him and his wife have been taking care of the brewery and picking up mash probably since Sam's been around. And Conrad and his family's brand is actually the Rocking Horse. As you're coming in off 212 from Billings, you can see the brand on the right-hand side about 2.5, 3 miles before you get to Red Lodge. So not only does he pick up all of our spent grain, it doesn't go to a landfill. It feeds cows. We get to see him almost every other day because he's an incredible human being. He got his cow on a can, and he brings us beef for Christmas. It's pretty awesome.
Perfect. I was kind of wondering about, so I've been around wineries a lot, obviously, and I was wondering, like, the crazy time of harvest is nuts for wineries. You know, they only get to basically do one crush a year. And so is there crazy times for you guys too, or do you guys kind of just do it, you know, all the time? And also one other thing I've been interested in is if you make a really bad batch, you just dump the whole barrel out and start again?
If we made a bad batch, yeah, we would definitely dump it. But one thing I can tell you about this company, they're consistent. And consistency is everything when you run a facility of this size. And if you're not consistent, you probably haven't been around since 1998 or longer, you know? So if there's ever something that goes wrong inside of the stainless, that's something that our master brewer, Justin Moore, and our brewers have the ability to go back and do some research. We also have our own lab, so we have the ability to test things as they come out, or before they come out, after they've been canned, 10, 30, 60, 90, 120 days later. But yeah, we would absolutely dump anything that didn't taste up to par. We've done that with our barrel age program. Sometimes things will sour. Anything could go wrong in a wine, brandy, bourbon barrel. You know, there's just, it's so much liveness. There's so many things alive in them. But yeah, we haven't thankfully ever had to dump a huge batch of beer since I've been around. But we would, guaranteed. We're not going to sell you bad beer because then you wouldn't buy it again.
Right.
See, that's why you're in sales.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this beer. I would like to give my opinion first, if you don't mind, on the aromas. I think it smells like a chocolate factory. I think it has nuttiness to it. Like, you know, kind of maybe roasted almonds or walnuts or something.
Good nose.
Yeah, I think the pine nuts, my son just said, roasted pine nuts, I think could be fun. And on the palate, oh, very toasty and very rich and warm and it's got some nice tannin to it, we would call it in the wine world, but it's got a finish that's not sweet, even though it kind of smells a little bit sweet. I think it's not sweet. So tell us about your opinion of this beer.
I think you nailed all of those aromatics perfectly. Because it's still a malt forward IPA, and when I say malt forward, I mean using the midnight wheat to get this color. It brings out a lot of different characteristics. You don't just smell this beer and think, oh, this is a citrusy, juicy IPA. There's
Right.
a little bit more to the nose. You know, the roasted chocolate you were smelling, the almonds. I mean, that all has to do with how dark these malting facilities can get this malt and wheat. It's incredible. So the time spent in the malting facility is what gives this beer that beautiful aroma and all those great characteristics you just described.
Oh, fantastic.
So not so
good.
much the hops in this beer. Definitely, I think the malts were shining on this one.
Nice.
And you showed us a thing earlier when nobody else was on of where you buy some malt. Can you show us that thing again from Great Falls?
My shirts?
Sure.
Oh wait, they sent me shirts. So this is from your malting facility.
Right.
Great malt makes great beer.
That's Malt Europe. Great Falls,
Ah,
Montana.
Nice.
Those are on my desk today. I love these guys so much. When they gave us the tour for Craft Beer Week, they were phenomenal. So nice. I got to meet their plant managers, their malting managers, the malting rep that goes around the world and actually meets with farmers. I mean, it is one of the closest farm to table production facilities. And what is it? Is it the largest in the world? Or is it the largest in it's definitely the largest in the US. Third largest in the world?
We hired you for answers, not questions.
Oh yeah, sorry.
We hired her.
We're Dustin Kraft when I need him. I hope he's on tonight.
Amanda, tell us again why the beer is so dark. Can you explain that
So
again? I had a question.
The beer is so dark because of the midnight wheat that we use in the brew. So the midnight wheat is black in color, unlike a normal light colored Pilsner wheat. Actually, I have some. I can show you what a normal malt looks like. And then I don't know if we have any midnight wheat because we're not brewing dark beers right now. So this is
And
from,
we all don't know what normal is anyway right now. Oh, nice.
yeah, I drug this sack out just for you guys.
Supporting our economy. Thank you.
Absolutely. So this is just like actually here. You see that? That's
Yeah.
just a normal batch of wheat or malt. It's not wheat. What is that? So that's our Vienna malt. That's gonna go in something like a lager, like our Checkmate Pilsner uses a Vienna malt. Take you to the green room. We're going mobile, people. We're going mobile.
Amanda, we've got another question for you too.
Yeah.
So what exactly is malt?
Um,
Where does malt come from?
malt comes from Montana in the Golden Triangle.
But is it from barley?
Yes, it is barley and wheat.
Barley and wheat?
So here's some chocolate malt. Can you see that, how dark it is?
Oh yeah.
I can't make a mess or the brewers will get on to me.
They'll forgive you. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I think you're
Yeah.
fine. Oh yeah, nice.
You see my hand is all black now, but so this chocolate malt, oh, it actually smells like chocolate. It's so good. So good. We should just hang out in here all night, guys. I'm gonna eat some malt. Any other questions about malt? And then there's, different colors.
No, you're breaking up on us. You better go back to your home base.
I can't be in here. Okay, we're going back. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
thanks
Is
for the
everyone
tour.
enjoying that black IPA?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got a lot of comments. People are loving it.
Good.
Yeah.
So I know do you have another glass you can pour the next beer in, or you have to
I'm
finish
a
that
beer
first?
rep. I am totally prepared, Mark. We own this.
We are too.
I've been unemployed for like 2 months. I'm glad you're making sure I'm up to date, up to speed. It's been a rough one. We're
So we're
loving
pouring the
this
rye
beer
now?
life. What?
We're pouring the rye now.
Yeah, we're pouring the rye IPA.
Look at that poor. Look at what she did, my wife. She's a
Hey,
beer
it's
girl.
okay. They're getting warm, okay?
They are getting
Gotta
a
give her
little
a
warm.
break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for Pete's sake. I would never pour
Um,
wine like that.
He
That's
also
Well.
he picked the wrong glass too. That was my pour in the right glass.
It's okay. I won't judge you on perfect glassware. So earlier, I just wanted to mention, I was drinking out of a German style mug, because again, our owner's name is Sam Hoffman. Doesn't get much of German than that. So this is what most of our locals drink. This is not what we pour our beers in, but the locals, you give it to them in a mug. But these are our new tiny little glasses, and they fit in your hand really nice and tight. They're really cute. And the color, what do you guys think of the color?
Amber as hell.
Not so black.
Hmm.
All right. Yeah, get that poured in, Clint. Come on. What is Devin doing? Why is everyone laughing at Devin? I can't see y'all's comments until they pop up.
She's got the, what is it, the Tiger King background.
Where is she?
If you
Where
can
is
find
she? Hey, Danya. I see you, girl. What you cooking?
her. Oh,
Oh my God, there's the Tiger King.
oh my God. That is too funny.
Oh, she just disappeared too.
Yeah.
Some magicians.
Magic. Oh my gosh.
Well, Matt Mead's over here with like a pool in his backyard and a lake or something. What's he up to?
Hey,
Oh man. Nice.
let's
It's,
get, let's get this focus back to the beer. I mean, Pete's sake, we can't just all have fun and laugh all night.
Hey, I thought you said we could. That was your
Oh.
rule tonight.
I forgot. Right? It's Saturday.
All right, so these two are phenomenal, and they're very different, and that's why we decided to put them in a 12-pack together. It's called a Lupulin 12-pack. We'll touch on that in a minute. But this is what we call the Ring Shank Rye IPA. If you're familiar with our company, we like nails a lot. Our owner used to be a carpenter when he first moved here. So bent nail, and then we have broken nail, and then we have ring shank, which is a type of nail. I didn't know that because I'm not a carpenter. And there's a lot of different nails, but I think the next one should be hangnail. Like a little light, low calorie beer called the hangnail.
Get nailed.
Whoa,
That's good,
whoa,
right?
whoa. That's a Saturday night comment.
Right.
Get nailed. If you guys use that, you owe us some royalty.
Yeah.
Wait, on what?
Get nailed.
Get nailed? No, we can't say get nailed. I couldn't even put get bent on a pair of yoga pants. So this delicious rye IPA, I think this is a really unique beer. The rye malts actually bring out more of some spicier characteristics in the beer. We made a rye beer years ago. It was a honey rye, and it was such a fan favorite. So this is kind of going off our honey rye recipe, but took out the honey and just exploded it with hops. I'm not going to tell you what hops we use because that's kind of a secret.
It's probably those
Citrus.
no, what's the one? The
Oh.
macro.
The brick, or no, what was it?
What do you say last time?
Metric shit ton.
Metric shit ton of hops.
We use a metric shit ton too. It's crazy how many hops we use. He was so funny. I wish he was on tonight. I'd love to high five him virtually. But you're still getting you're getting some great hop characteristics out of this beer. Again, it's not just jumping out, punching you in the face with citrus, juice. You know, these beers were put in place to be more of a cold weather, gearing up for spring type beer. We're saving some really juicy beers for when it's actually warm outside. So this is our winter warmer beer, is the rye IPA.
Am
Do
I
you have any
supposed to
weird-
now, or do you have something else to say?
No, you can go ahead. Some things popped up. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
No, I don't have much to say. So last night, Mike went off on some soapboxes. Do you have any soapboxes you'd like to go off on? Are you tired
Don't
of
ask me that. No, you don't want to ask
we're
me
asking
that.
you that. Yeah, go off. Go down the
Um,
rabbit hole for a minute.
No, this industry is super fun. This industry is super fun. Besides the fact that, you just got to spend a lot of money all the time to keep going. Like Mike was saying, we spend a shit ton of money on a good ingredients. Like them and most other Montana craft breweries, what we all really try and do is support the local economy. We try and buy as local as we can. Montana doesn't have the hops that we need right now. Maybe in 5 to 10 years, Montana can start growing and producing and pelletizing the hops. But right now, we're doing everything we can just to keep up and stay relevant and be new and invest back into ourselves. Like, one thing I really love about being with this company is the owner is constantly buying new equipment for the brewery, because I'm going in there and I'm saying, Sam, we can't make enough bent now. Everyone's stressed out. Like, we need some more tanks. Can we get some more tanks? And Sam's like, they're expensive. I know they're expensive, but let's do it. So I'm like the yeah girl. Like, this canning line behind me, I guess this is my soapbox. When I first started here, I wanted so much more. I wanted more, but I got it. I was patient. I worked really hard, busted my ass, and we're here. Like, we have a brand new canning line that was built for our facility that we designed and had installed, and we're constantly putting new cans in the market. The Lupulin twin packs, and this was an idea that all of us did together as a group. Like, out of the 13 people that work here, no one from out of state came in and said, oh, you should name it the Lupulin twin pack. You should put 2 dudes riding in the Scooby-Doo van. You should put a truck driving down the mountains on there. Like, we just did it. We took a risk and we did it. And our graphics might not be the best, and things might not be the most beautifulest, but everything we put into the beer it's with our blood, sweat, and tears. Not literally, because that's gross. But, like, these people work really hard, and everyone here in the brewery sacrifices a whole lot. Like, our canning line can work they never work 8 hours. They work anywhere from 10 to 20 hours a day. If we're on a roll and we got to brew and can more beer, like, they do it. So my soapbox is, the brewing industry is hard, and it's really expensive. And if you think that you can just open up a brewery and make it, that's not the truth. And that's kind of what I wanted to follow up, this canning line. Like, the canning line has really made it to where not just my brewery, it's not my brewery, not just our brewery, but breweries like Lewis and Clark, Big Sky. I mean, anyone that cans or packages beer maybe has a future. People that don't package beer, like, that's a stress. So what can we do as a brewing community? Can we take and put someone's beer in our tanks and possibly help them package it? Probably, maybe. Can other breweries do that? Yeah. Like, there's so many cool options that we can all do to work together to make sure that no one's left behind. I guess is kind of what I'm saying. We're all in this together as breweries. This is a really difficult time because we're not putting beer in kegs. You ain't got no kegs in inventory. But when you do, it's going to be really fresh.
Right.
Super fresh.
Absolutely. Do you guys do any seasonals?
We
Amanda?
do.
Okay.
Yeah, so kind of what our seasonal lineup is. So we do 5 year rounds. You all know the 5: Bent, Checkmate, Helio, Jackson, Glacier. And then we have a seasonal 6-pack rotation. It's out every 3 months. And recently it was Broken Nail Double IPA. It's Bruno's Montana IPA right now, made with real honey from Columbus, Montana. I guess the honey isn't made, bees make it, but it's from Columbus. Our next seasonal will be one that's really cool. It's called the Montandy Shandy. It's a bit like the Helio, but it's a filtered wheat beer. Super rad, very light, easy drinking, sessionable beer. After Shandy, we roll into Oktoberfest. Because we're German, and it's fun. And then after Oktoberfest lager, we do porter. So within those times of a 3-month release, we also have a 3-month release of the Lupulin twin packs. So you guys are almost sold out, if not sold out, of the rye and black IPA.
Mhm.
And just so you people know, in Great Falls and across Montana, these are getting shipped out very soon, like first of the month. They were just canned Friday.
We've got a
Thursday.
truck. We have a truck going there next week. So I wonder if we're picking some up next week.
You got some on order.
Okay, perfect.
What's
Yeah, so look for that.
what does lupulin mean?
Great question.
See, finally, I got a great question. That's nice.
Great question.
You stole
So-
from Kevin.
I'm sorry, Mark. I'll make you happy later. All right, so you kind of brought up the question yesterday with like putting out more seasonals and why people didn't do them or why you didn't pump out more. But the big thing with seasonals is, man, you got to look up if someone's used that name, if it's trademarked. There's so much research you have to do before you actually name a beer. For example, we had a beer called Rock Dodge Porter. It was our dog pull porter, but some brewery from Indiana called us and was like, "We make a Rock Dodger. You got to change your name." And we said, "All right." We didn't have packaging at the time, so we changed the name. So we went with the name Dog Pull, and we had to spend a little bit more money to make sure that other people didn't use that name. They didn't have a dog pulling a keg, etc. So the great thing about lupulin, it is the yellow resin inside the hop cone, and that is actually what gives the hop cone its characteristic.
So you
Yeah.
feel you guys feel real smart then. You came up with
Well,
that. Why wouldn't you?
There's two parts to it. So you also can't trademark lupulin.
Oh.
So if someone else comes out with a beer or a 12 pack, like we don't have to go through lawyer fees. They don't have to go through lawyer fees. Like I don't want to deal with that. I'm driving most of the time, or I'm in bars and establishments talking to you beautiful people. Like we ain't got time for that. So we had to go and think outside the box. And lupulin's a really cool name, and it's also really rad that no one can ever pronounce it correctly. So you walk in there feeling like a rock star. You're like, it's actually lupulin. Just saying. Instead of lupulu, lupula, lupulin. Kind of like that terroir, you know?
Oh,
that
thank
terroir.
you. Finally.
Terroir, terroir,
That's
terroir,
$11.
terroir, terroir. I said it.
That took so long to get terroir out.
And
that's
then
$11.
also, it's called lupulin twin pack because both beers inside will both be seasonal IPAs. We used to call it the wingman package because it had a bent nail and a seasonal 6-pack. Well, that was dumb. We didn't need to do that. We needed 2 seasonal IPAs to keep our IPA, like fast forward thinking drinker, like ahead of the curve. So you were going to get the New England IPA, which is our 20th anniversary beer. That's why it's got a truck on it. It's driving up the Beartooth Highway. It's really cute. And
A
then
truck?
this
A truck?
is a truck.
You just made truck like a 2-syllable word. Truck.
Truck. I do. I can make it a 3 if you want. And then the other one is the Mystery Machine. When we first started this, we decided to call it Mystery Machine IPA because we were going to change up the IPA every year. But the IPA that's in there right now is a Brute IPA. Same one as last year. It was so successful, we decided to brew another batch of that. If it tanked, we probably would have created another IPA for it.
Well, I don't know what else to say, Dania. Do you have any more questions?
Well,
Beth?
Oh, Dina.
you know what, Bill? I don't know what else you could ask me. You and Cynthia have been so great. Sorry, Kathy. I didn't mean to bring you into it.
No, that's my new alter ego with the hat. It'll
You don't
stick.
want to meet my alter ego.
Anybody else have any questions?
Someone said, why is it called New England IPA?
So, great question. Great question. All right, so our owner is actually from the Mass area. I don't even remember where. My head brewer and master brewer, Justin Moore, is also from the New England area. When we decided to create an anniversary beer, I thought it would be appropriate that we make a New England IPA. And all a New England IPA is a hazy IPA for the layman. Not trying to call anyone stupid or anything, but it's just a hazy IPA. It's cloudy, it's thick, it's super juicy, and it's going off some of the, and they call it a New England IPA not because, well, because it originated there, but some of the older breweries like your Dogfish Head, your Sam Adams, those guys all kind of started and were playing around with that before it hit to the West Coast IPA. So this is just a really hazy, beautiful, juicy, orange juice like IPA. And then the Brute's kind of the exact opposite. It's got way more of a drier mouthfeel. The hops are different. There's about 7 to 8 different varieties of hops in one beer. So we're using about 16 different varieties of hops in just this 12-pack package, which is pretty impressive.
Great.
People seem to like you on the chat. Do you find that is common? Right.
No, no.
Yeah, right.
Right, exactly. Well,
I've never met a stranger.
you take your Tennessee accent and you go home and drink some beer and
enjoy this
stuff.
beautiful night.
I think I'm probably going to have to go do some more work if I leave here. So I'm just going to hang out on the catwalk for a few hours.
You do have to talk about Nick on Friday.
All right, so we're done then. You have anything else you want to talk about? Because I'm going to go on. We're just going to leave you hanging.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I just want to say thank you. And it was so great to see so many familiar faces like in that Great Falls market. Like, I love you guys so much. And you mean a lot to me. And I'm really, really thankful for everyone. And it's so good to be with you all because I miss you so much.
You too.
I wonder if you're an extrovert at all. You seem like kind of an introvert a bit, so.
We'll totally be back together. Let's just hug it out. Come on. Let's just hug it out. Let's just hug it out.
Cheers.
Okay.
Let's do a cheers. I have no beer left. Maybe.
Oh, here. I'll share.
Can we cheers? I love you,
Cheers.
folks.
Cheers. Thank you so much. It was awesome.
Mhm.
So now we're moving on from you. We're not talking about you anymore. All right. I'm sorry. So next week we are going to do wine tastings again. And we only have, I think, what did I say, 14 people sign up or something? Get signed up, you people. And we talked to Nick Memke today. I think I mentioned it last night. I know I mentioned it last night because I remember stuff like that. And we're going to have Nick cook for us. At the same time, we're going to, I think it's Friday night, maybe Saturday night, whatever. We'll work it out. We'll send an email, but so we're going to send you recipes. We're going to maybe give you, Tara, maybe we'll do the ingredients too, you think? Yeah, maybe we'll have all the ingredients ready for you. And then he'll kind of teach us how to chop and have fun. So we're going to do that maybe Friday, I think. I hope Friday, because I love Friday's wines, both the white and the red. They're from Saint Joseph in southern France. So I think that's about it, right? Anything else you want to talk about, Tara?
She's saying no.
No? All right. Well, again, thank you so much, Amanda. You were amazing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I have one thing. Amanda
Oh, that's right.
donated a bunch of swag, really awesome swag. And so she needs sizes. So when I pick the winners, I just need to hear back on your sizes so we can get them to you.
Well, tell them what they are, though.
I don't have them in front of me, but a couple growlers, some hats. I think she has pictures.
T-shirts, and she donated like, I don't know, like 10 items, I'll bet, right? And then also a tasting down there.
A $50 gift card to.
Oh, look. Amanda's got them.
Amanda, talk so you can get on the screen.
There we go.
What?
Show us again. Nice.
That's nice.
Nice. Did you know you're a model too?
I've turned down jobs. I'm kidding. Oh yeah, and then who won the Rocking Horse brand? Who
We haven't
answered
done
that?
it yet. Can you show us everything that you're giving away tonight?
Oh, I'll give them one of these. These are like $60 growlers.
Nice.
Or I'll give them whatever they want. Tell me what they want.
Well, Tara and I already won that.
Let's Eric. Yeah, Eric won. Eric, what do you want?
That would be cool, what you just showed.
You want a growler?
That one? Yeah, I don't have one of those.
Or you want a white one?
I like the green one.
Or you want a black one?
Let's go green.
Black one feels like rhino liner. It's not nice on your face. It doesn't smell that good. This one's smooth. This one's smooth. Yeah, I'd go with the green one. I'd go with the green one. Cool? Okay, this one's Eric's. I'm writing his name on it. With my blood.
All right. Well,
All
we better
right.
go.
Yeah.
We
Okay,
can't.
bye.
We can't stay on all night for Pete's sake.
You were saying all night. I thought we were going all night. Bye. Thank you all so much. Appreciate your support. Support Eagle Beverage. Support your friends. Support everyone. Support yourselves. Bye.
Over now.